This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
You all ready for this? Dun 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 dun.
No.
Y'all, just stop.
This is a sham. Welcome to DBL. Happy Friday, everybody.
Woo!
Really?
It's a good Friday.
It was that long of a week?
Pep rally for the University
I know.
in here. Yeah.
Holy cow, I love that intro. It's like we had a live audience. All right, so let's get to it. After following this story for years, we finally learned Jussie Smollett's fate for the 2019 hate crime hoax. Jussie was sentenced to 150 days in jail and another 25 months of probation. He has to pay $120,000 in restitution and a $25,000 fine. Here's the new mugshot where he's not showing any emotion, and we finally got to hear from Jussie, who spoke in court after learning his sentence. Let's listen.
I am not suicidal. I am innocent, and I am not suicidal. If I did this, then it means that I stuck my fist in the fears of black Americans in this country for over 400 years and the fears of the LGBTQ community. Your Honor, I respect you and I respect the jury, but I did not do this. And I am not suicidal. And if anything happens to me when I go in there, I did not do it to myself. And you must all know that.
And scene.
Yeah, I'm just like stunned by this behavior. Like, he was really putting on a whole performance. That felt like a Broadway play.
It really did. That's why I said I shouldn't make light of this, but he is putting on a little theater in there.
Right.
He's putting a little
He's
theater
making a joke out of the court and everything else.
I would agree with you most times, but I'm starting to wonder if this man is a little actually delusional and believes the movie that he's in. Otherwise, he's crazy and a clown, and I agree with you. But they are going to give a mental test before he goes to jail, and they do that normally. It's a standard thing. But I'm a little freaked out that he did this because does he believe in the narcissism that this happened?
I know, but also, like, he's naming suicide. Like, I know you are obsessed with Jeffrey Epstein.
I
right?
heard you talk about yesterday, and that's exactly, or earlier.
So we're on the same page. I'm like, okay, people were after Jeffrey Epstein, whether you believe he committed suicide or not, because he had all these secrets about powerful leaders of countries and whatnot. This is a little bit different of a case, you know, like nobody's checking for.
The government's not coming for Jussie.
Right.
He's going to Cook County Jail. He's not going to Joliet. You know, so there's a difference, right? There's a difference between jail and prison for people out there.
But I think he is getting put in special, what is it called?
He does have some sort of protection in the beginning. They're going to look after him because of these stuff. Saying you're not suicidal, maybe you're suicidal, right? You know, like saying, I'm not racist, maybe you're a little racist. You know what I mean? That's the cover-up.
I will say this, and I wouldn't even say in defense of him, just in, you know, we're all human beings and we fall under this umbrella. I've grown up with somebody that suffered from bipolar.
Yeah.
When you think about that movie, A Beautiful Mind, he was bipolar, and what did he think? The government was coming after him. The person in my life always thinks when they are having an episode that the government is coming after them. And so when he said that,
like paranoia.
Yes, the paranoia. It did make me think of this. This would be an extended episode, or maybe somebody that's maybe undiagnosed. But again, I think that's probably where most of this country is with whatever ailment that we all walk around with. So I'm not saying that it makes it right, but when he did say that, the paranoia, I've heard that almost word for word before. So I thought that was interesting, but I don't know if does that mean he's exonerated? No. Does that mean a lot of people that are probably in jail right now suffer from some form of some mental health issue? Probably. So I don't know how you go back and undo that.
Listen, to everyone has their own opinion. Is it insulting in any way that, again, he's not doubling, tripling, quadrupling down? Again, he brought up the black thing for 400 years. He brought up the LGBTQ community. There's real victims here of crime and hate and that have went through this. And he's still using this and still playing that card. Does that upset
the judge
anybody?
Got very upset and said that. The judge was like, this is why I'm giving you 5 months in prison, basically. He was saying, you have hurt and diluted the message of real people, of real hate crimes. You are okay and sometimes, but sometimes you're a narcissist. The judge clearly had that in mind when he made his opinion. And that happens. If he hadn't quadrupled down, I don't think he would have gotten this long of a sentence.
And I would have been fine with probation and him owing tons of money back. But the reason why don't feel here or there as a black woman about the situation is because you continue on and keep going. And you have a lawyer sitting next to you who's like, yes, let's go with this defense also. Like, hire a new lawyer. She's like slapping him on the side while he's giving the judge prayer hands. Like, it's just a terrible situation.
Well, for the lawyer, it's good because then she gets some notoriety, right, from this case. So it builds her up in some sort of way.
I think the lawyer was like, stop.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was kind of like, she was doing this as he was laying judge.
But I feel like that lawyer at that point was trying to tell him, she's like, well, it's done now.
Yeah.
I feel like she just started filing her papers like, well, this case.
Whatever. So this is done too. We got to put it in the past. If he needs help, I hope he gets it. But I hope he also learned a lesson from this. And people out there too also learned a lesson. So let's move on. Jamie Lee Curtis is getting real and honest about how she wants to present herself. The actress posted this photo to Instagram to promote her new movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and opened up about how she wouldn't suck in her stomach for the role. Let me kick things off by saying, when you're an actor, you're not Jamie Lee Curtis anymore. You're that person in the movie.
Right.
So Jamie Lee Curtis is not sucking in her stomach. The person in that role is not sucking in her stomach.
Yeah. That's a great point.
Yeah. So I mean, I get what she's doing, but it would mean more if this was just for her Instagram. I think for a movie, you kind of want this character to come to light as kind of a person that doesn't take a lot of, I don't know how to say that, like pride in their appearance, you know.
I saw you dancing around that one.
Yeah, so I don't get that, but I do like that she is portraying a character that looks like people that I know, people that I've worked with. So I do appreciate that.
I know, but I'm not a fan of unflattering pictures. That's not a bad thing. Like, somebody that size doesn't have to be looking like that. Like, you wear clothes tailored to the size that you are, and it's fine. Everybody looks good in their clothes.
But we did interview Renee Zellweger. Remember, we talked about how she wanted to make sure she looked, in the thing about Pam, like everyday women. And a lot of women don't buy shapewear or tailored clothes. They buy what they can and they put it on, and it's not a priority, I think. And that, I think, is she's trying to represent those type of people, but I don't know if she does this in real life.
Exactly. So I'm missing the point.
Yeah.
She's trying to capitalize on fat shaming or whatever it is that
trying
we're
to get
doing.
some eyeballs on our movie.
That's what I'm saying, right? And she's kind of capitalizing on that point, almost to the same aspect Jussie was capitalizing on his point.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, there's messages out there, and we're getting them so diluted and so mixed up in the Twitter sphere, and everyone's just like, you are. I am what? You don't even know what
the similarity, because those are kind of extreme differences.
Very different.
But the similarity is that they're both performative in your mind. You're saying that she's doing this for an audience. Jussie was trying to be performative.
Well, they're both not real.
Right.
Jussie's wasn't real, and that's not her. That's her character. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
What's up? Everyone's just like, yeah, it's Friday. Let's get through this thing. All right.
I agree with you.
All right. Well, that's weird for me. That's very weird for me. All right. Amy Schumer revealed why she got liposuction. You guys into this one?
Yes.
Oh, it's Friday. After a prior surgery to remove her uterus and appendix to reduce pain caused by endometriosis, she got tired of seeing her body in the mirror and opted to get liposuction after deciding that lifestyle choices wouldn't naturally tighten up her skin. Schumer said she has no regrets about the procedure and wanted to be honest about getting lipo with her fans.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
This is awesome. I know so many women after they had babies that the uterus doesn't contract the same way, and there's nothing you can do to make the baby pouch, and I say that with lovingness or kindness, go away. No sit-ups, no diet, no nothing. If this is what she wants to do, fantastic. If she wants to tell us about it, awesome. If she doesn't, also cool. Awesome, awesome, awesome either way.
I'll say hats off to her for telling people, because I think, like, in the situation of the Kardashians, which we talked about yesterday, they all kind of lie and finesse that they didn't get surgery or maybe did. So they're setting unrealistic expectations for people who look up to them. So I appreciate her being honest and transparent, especially with the floor and the stage that she has. But I also think she made a ton of money off of being like the heavier girl and kind of like the one who's like looks like Jamie Lee Curtis in that picture. And we all praised her for that. And so if you made your career, where do you go if you decided to be the skinny girl now?
That's the interesting thing, Tori. You know, Amy's the homie since day one. I've known her forever. And it's less about her, but more about kind of, we were talking about things being performative. And it just seems like there are different parts of your career where you jump on different tracks. So early you might be the funny, heavier, kind of potty mouth, you know, female comedian lead. And then as you make money and become the lead of the thing, you start to lose weight. I saw this with my buddy Kumail. All of a sudden he's jacked and in the Avengers. It's like, I used to do shows at a comic book shop with you. You know, you see people have these different tracks in their career. So is it that you are trying to empower the women around you to, you know, look their best post, you know, giving birth? Or is it that this is just where you are in your career? You did the funny, chubby, male, black side sidekick for the comedy thing, and now you're Al the lead, and now you're James Bond, so I get my chin done and I get my six-pack. Like, am I then doing that for men to learn about their health, or am I doing that because that's where I'm in my career?
I would almost say, how about for your life? Right? Because I know my wife went through this, right? She had 2 babies, one, she's very open about it, one vaginally, one,
cesarean?
Yeah, C-section. And there's some things, scar tissue, that doesn't necessarily go away, and you want to feel good about yourself.
Yes.
So maybe it has nothing to do with her performance. She just wants to feel good as a mom, as a person, as a wife, and move on.
I wonder if there's pressure. She got to that level of success you're talking about, and when you're there, it's hard to be the big funny girl at that level, right? You see everybody who gets to like the top of their career starts to look better. They say money looks good on you, right? And it's for a reason. I think so. There's added pressure when you're at her level of star.
Why do you think people get upset when people do make that transition, or so to speak? You know, when
it's
they
like
do,
one of us can't be at the top. One of us regular Joes can't be there then. Is that kind of the message that you're sending?
You're abandoning them.
You're a rejection of you, of the normal person.
Yeah, when you lose weight, I mean, how many of those stories have we covered where somebody loses
Jonah
the
Hill
weight
doing it,
and people
Seth
are like,
Rogen.
I thought we were all Team Chubby over here, and now you leave. You know, it's really offensive.
I want Team
Al.
Yeah.
If everybody
We
looks
put on a couple
perfect,
pounds,
it's like
Al,
hard to keep up.
I'm down with Team Chubby. Let's do it.
I'm all over it. And spring's around the corner. Coming up on DBL, you know him as the lovable butler on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Joseph Marcel tells us what it was like meeting Will Smith for the first time. Plus, are Cardi B and Dolly Parton collaborating? Erica breaks it down for us in her weekly segment, What Erica's Watching.
Closed captioning provided by
Poshmark.
We skipped the story and Jeff wants
Tori could do it.
Okay, so Elon Musk, if y'all didn't know, and Grimes welcomed a daughter. They are still broken up again, but they welcomed a daughter, second baby for them both. They gave birth via surrogate in December, but the daughter, the name they chose is Exa, E-X-A, Exa, dark, like dark, side, hashtag real, I'm sorry, not hashtag, dash real. So let me say it again. Exa, dark side, real. Exa, dark side, real. They nicknamed
that is XE.
No, I just said you could call her Exy.
Oh, they nicknamed her Y, just the letter, Y. This is their second child. The son is X-Ash A-12.
You call him Ash and her XE?
Is that AE?
Yeah. They wanted very unique names like Richard.
That's what that is. I was wondering.
But what do you think that is that drives celebrities to do that? Because it's been a thing
No.
for...
It's different than Blue Ivy versus Exadash. There's a difference of what celebrities are doing, let's be honest.
Somebody had, what was it?
Rachel Griffiths named their kid Banjo.
What did Frank Zappa name it?
Oh yeah, like Moonshine Rainbow.
It's on there.
Moon Unit.
Yeah.
Moon Unit. That's right.
Ahmed.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. I can read. It's not on the. Oh, it's on the second card.
Did she really?
Yeah, Valley Girl it was called.
Well, I told
she was the first sort of Valley Girl because she did this song called Valley Girl, and in the song she's like, "Oh my God," and all this stuff like that.
That was a good
became
Valley
big hit
voice.
song.
What year was that, roughly?
That had to be like 82, 2 or 3. Yeah.
Jason Lee named their son Pilot Inspector.
I wanted to name Elijah Action. Like, there was a
Action
big
Jackson.
argument. I wanted to name him Action. I thought that'd be a cool name.
You know what?
Yeah, some people.
Action Jackson.
Some people love it or hate it.
No, I was gonna
I
say
know, but I think it's a cool name.
my grandfather's actual name is General.
No,
Passed
it's
away, but
not.
My dad's father's name is
That's a cool name.
And I was like, yo, my best was General.
So my girl Candy spilling even more tea about upcoming ATL housewife drama. Keisha Cole explains why Eve unfriended her, and Cardi B could collabo with Dolly P in this week's What Erica's Watching. First, Candy gave us exclusive tea about her fallout with Marlo. Yes, honey, yes. By telling DBL that the new housewife and She by Sheree will be what everyone's talking about this upcoming season. Now, Candy is detailing the explosive fight by saying it was out of control and full of terrible verbal jabs that hit below the belt.
At the beginning, when we lost 2 peaches, I was a little nervous.
Yeah.
But I am so happy with how it all came together. When I tell y'all, it was just craziness from beginning to end.
Although they are friends again, it's not all peachy keen for me because the ladies made up before giving us a messy reunion. Now next, Keisha Cole is speaking out on what led to her demise of her friendship with Eve. She said she slapped a girl for trying to take Eve's bag, but Eve wasn't having it. Take a look.
Eve is really about that. Like, we stopped hanging out. Like, she was like, I can't hang with Keisha. Like, she can't be slapping people. And I was like, wait, I'll slap somebody for you.
Well, Keisha learned not to put her hands on people, and what I learned is Keisha is the kind of ride-or-die homegirl that most of us would want. Finally, a track with Dolly Parton and rap star Cardi B is more likely than you might think. The country legend recently said that she can see herself working with Cardi B in the future. Dolly calls Cardi an original, and I call this a hit in the making. Share with me anything that catches your eye by using the hashtag DBLEricaWatch. We'll be right back.
A ton of misinformation out there. The Russian government is engaging in its typical propaganda campaign, trying to poison the minds of people in their own country and then also mislead the Ukrainians. They're saying Ukraine is run by drug users. Again, not true. And Putin has used the justification that Russia needs to denazify Ukraine as a way to justify this campaign.
Бажаю здоров'я українських героїв.
I want to ask about any possible disinformation on the Ukrainian side.
I mean, the Ukrainians are putting out a lot of material on social media, videos, pictures, interviews with captured Russian soldiers. It's hard to know how accurate all of that is. Obviously, they want to present their efforts in a very positive light. There are independent groups there, like the International Red Cross is there. And so there has been some verification of a lot of the Ukrainian information.
How can people look out for this type of misinformation?
I mean, people have to be skeptical about everything online just because there's so much false information. But the way people can protect themselves is pay attention to authoritative sources. It is hard to evaluate information during wartime because we are thousands of miles away. We're relying on a handful of people who are actually on the scene in Ukraine. Social media has added a new element in the sense of it's given us access to ordinary people and their personal experiences and their personal testimony.
And the best way to avoid spreading misinformation or disinformation about the war or anything else is to just take a beat before sharing and make sure that you know the source. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozlov.
All this Master William stuff, man, I'm not down with that, man. Make it sound like we back on the plantation. So we like, Master William, Master William. Let's come up with something better that you could call me. What would you prefer? Check this. His Royal Freshness. That's dope.
I agree with Will, that is dope. Now, after retiring from his role as Jeffrey from The Fresh Prince, you may think Joseph Marcel would have more time to chill out and relax, but the sitcom star, you know he's not with that. He's got a new movie, and earlier he gave us a look at his take on the new Bel-Air reboot. Take a look.
Fresh Prince fans are tuning in to the show's new dramatic reboot. Your character, my favorite by the way, Jeffrey, is now an edgy house manager. So I wanted to know if you gave the new Jeffrey any pointers. Did you guys speak at all?
Yes, we did talk, and I told him. I said to him, follow the directions, learn the lines, and don't trip over the furniture.
Good for life. Those were good for life.
That is good life advice. So what are the pros and cons of playing such a beloved character on a major sitcom?
Well, you get to do movies, you get to travel the world, you get to be in Turkey where nobody speaks hardly any English, and somebody walks across the road, comes across, touches your beard and goes, Jeffrey.
What do you remember about meeting Will Smith for the first time?
I came from London, and I had to do my audition with him that morning. I arrived, I don't know, I think about 8 p.m., and at 9:30 a.m. I was at NBC. And so we're doing this scene, and I thought, what's he doing? Is that how he's going to do it? It's not on the script. I mean, and Will's all like, yeah, man, that's how I do it. And I thought, okay, I can deal with that, right?
Did you know who he was? Were you familiar with him at the time, or was he still kind of an unknown commodity?
Well, he had the hit, Parents Don't Understand.
Wait, did you think that Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was going to be as big as it was when you first came on board?
If I had known, I would put it in tiny bottles, and it would cost you $1 million to buy one. I had no clue. But what I knew most above anything else was that the man leading that show was an extraordinary talent.
Yeah, that's true.
People say the same thing about this show.
Yeah.
And about Al,
And
specifically.
about me. Or Al. Okay.
The way you guys have apportioned it and divided it, it's so equal and fun. I mean, it's marvelous.
Oh, we actually hate each other. No, I'm kidding. We actually love each other very much. Joseph, I want to get to your new movie. It's called The Exorcism of God, which sounds absolutely terrifying. And I wanted to know, what was the scariest thing about working on your first horror film?
I mean, the whole thing was scary.
Yeah.
It's all right, you know. You get into makeup, you get into costume, you get on the set, and the director says, "Well, you'll be there, and this will happen," and you think, "Okay, I can deal with that." I mean, I've done Julius Caesar and Antony and Cleopatra. I can deal with that.
Sure.
However, the moment we were doing this, and one scene especially, it's the first kind of confrontation with the thing.
You're from down there. Prove it. Come on, prove it. Well, gentlemen, there's no demon, no possession. Let's go get a drink.
And this thing, this banshee thing, comes flying out of nowhere. I don't know how Alejandro did it, because we weren't part of that rehearsal. And attacks us, and I was terrified.
Wow.
And she attacked me. I mean, she punched me and smacked me and knocked me down. It was wonderful. I'm told it's an extraordinary scene, but it was pretty scary.
What you just did was an extraordinary scene. I can't imagine the scene in the movie.
Bravo. What a talented actor and an interesting man. Thank you so much for joining us, Joseph. DBL Nation, you can catch Joseph in his horror film debut, The Exorcism of God. It's in theaters and on demand right now. Again, what a pleasure speaking with you. We'll be right back.
Absolute pleasure. Bless. Stay safe.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
The price of oil continues to rise. On Tuesday, a barrel of oil was trading between $120 and $130. Compare that to just a few months ago in December, when a barrel of oil cost $68. During his State of the Union address, President Biden told Americans that the U.S. and 30 other countries that make up the International Energy Agency agreed to release 60 million barrels of oil from their strategic reserves. 30 million of that is coming from the United States. President Biden said these steps will help lower gas prices. So the question, will the release of 60 million barrels of reserve oil help reduce gas prices? Let's verify. Our source is Ray Trevino, Director of Operations for Pecos Country Operating, the Library of Congress, and the U.S. Energy Information Administration. According to the Library of Congress, the U.S. consumes an average of 20.6 million barrels of oil a day. Trevino says currently the United States produces a little more than half of that.
America produces on a good day between 12 and 14 million barrels of oil. So we still have to get that difference on a daily basis. That's where we're getting it from Saudi Arabia, from Russia, from the other OPEC countries as well.
If all 60 million barrels from the reserve were exclusively used in America and we were only reliant on that reserve, we would only have enough fuel for 3 days. The Biden administration has tapped into the reserves before. Back on November 23rd, they released 50 million barrels of oil from the strategic reserve. According to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, in the days following the release, the average price of gas dropped 2 cents. By December 6th, it only dropped another 3 cents.
It was so quick. They did drop and then they went right back up.
Trevino believes the same will happen again. He says tapping the reserves may put a small dent in gas prices, but not enough to justify using a stockpile that's meant for emergencies.
We'll do nothing but put another Band-Aid on a very big wound, and we will only hinder ourselves if we ever got into a serious emergency here in America.
So we can verify that no, the release of 60 million barrels of reserve oil will not help reduce gas prices in the long term. With your Verified, I'm Megan Bragg.
Staffing shortages have led some companies like Subway and Domino's to slash store hours. Less time open means less opportunity to make money. Domino's even going so far as to offer customers $3 off just to pick up their own pizza. Career website Indeed says 4 out of 5 employers report difficulty filling all their open positions. And now, the Wall Street Journal reports some companies are spending millions on help wanted ads, taking their recruitment efforts to TV and TikTok. FedEx and Safelite are spending big on traditional commercials, while Dunkin' has paid influencers to promote its job openings. And while it's true that ad blitzes are expensive, they can also be effective. Safelite says its recruitment pool has increased 50% since it launched its campaign.
All right, guys, some sad news before we go. For anyone who knows this familiar face from Sesame Street, actor Emilio Delgado passed away yesterday after battling blood cancer. He was 81 years old. Emilio played Sesame Street's Fix-It Shop owner, Luis Rodriguez, for nearly 45 years and proudly laid claim to the record for the longest running role for a Mexican American in a TV series. He was part of all of our lives.
Absolutely.
And whether you know him or not, he was.
He
right?
was.
Absolutely.
And I said something about him, and even Sierra, who's much younger than me, was nodding. Sesame Street just runs the gamut of all old, young, new generation, old generation, and this man was through it all. What a miraculous show.
And all the life lessons that it taught you. And you didn't even know when
right?
you were that young, but as you get older, you start to understand. It's such an impactful piece of content that we have for all generations to consume. So I'm so happy that we have
it. All right, guys, have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday.
You say, me llamo. What? That means my name is. Introduce yourself, tell them your name. In Spanish or English, it's still the same.
Just say, me llamo.
Tell them your name.
That means my name is. We'll introduce ourselves, tell them our names.
Chances are